graders. I hope you had a really good time learning about the honeybees this week. And I wanted to help you learn a little more about honeybees because so much can be learned by studying the honeybee. So much can be learned about how if you work together as a whole group, as a whole community, that's what our whole book was about. From beginning to end, this unit 2 was all about communities and how communities work together to make things happen. And so if you really study the honeybee, you can learn a lot about how working as a group or coming together as a community can help you get a whole lot more done. So we are going to learn a whole lot more about the honeybee today, and I wanted to get you started by making something that is not just a fun picture or a really pretty piece of art, but something that's going to help us write to learn today, something that's going to help us organize all of the information that we learn about when we learn about the honeybee. Okay, so I made this little picture. I think you're going to really like it, and I'm going to show you exactly how I made it so that you can make one too. Okay, this man made a picture of a hive, of a beehive, and some bees flying around it. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Okay. In your math toolkit, you have something called a pattern block template, looks like this, and some pattern blocks, and inside those pattern blocks you have these little guys. If you look back through your honeybee story, you'll notice that all of the cells that's in the hive are in this shape. That shape has 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a 6-sided shape is called a hexagon. Can you say that? Hexagon. So all of the little cells in the honeybee hive is a hexagon. So you're going to take either these little guys or your pattern block template. You can use one or the other. You probably, after experimenting a little bit, will find that one of them is easier for you to use than the other. But I'm going to show you how to use both. Okay? So here's my picture. I'm going to have to somehow get these little hexagons to stick together. Okay, I'm going to show you first how to do it with your pattern block template, and then I'll show you how to do it with your pattern blocks in case one or the other is easier for you. Okay, so you're going to take your paper. I'm going to try to make it so that you can see here. Now, on your pattern block template, this little guy right here is your hexagon. So I'm going to take my hexagon so that it just touches the bottom of the paper with the point, with the bottom point, okay? And I'm going to trace that hexagon. And if you pick up the paper, there's your hexagon. Now, what makes this a little difficult is this flat side has to touch this flat side. So you're going to have to take your pattern block and you're going to have to move it so that the sides of one hexagon touch the other. Okay, so when I do that, you're going to have 2 hexagons side by side, and they're going to share that side right there in the middle. So I can continue to use my pattern block template. Now, I started with 3 hexagons on the bottom of my beehive. You don't have to do that. As long as your hexagons touch each other, it's okay if you have 3 on the bottom or 4 on the bottom or 2 on the bottom. It's totally up to you. You can't go wrong. Okay, any way you do it, you're gonna be fine as long as your hexagons touch each other. Okay? It might help you too if you have a grown-up that can help you keep the pattern block template still. Because sometimes when you trace these little guys, your pattern block template will move around on you. Okay? So you can see how if I continue to just draw hexagons that touch each other, it's going to start looking like a beehive. Now, holding that pattern block template is difficult for you, and sometimes it's hard to see how to move them so that the sides touch. The other thing you can do is you can use these guys. And I'm going to lay my pattern block down so that the sides touch like that. That way you can see exactly where you need to be. Okay? So I'm going to lay that in just the right spot, and then I'm going to trace around my pattern block template. The tricky thing with these is to keep the pattern block still. So again, you might want to have a grown-up help you keep that still so that you can trace around it. So see, that gave me a hexagon there. Now I'm going to move this so that the corners of my hexagon line up with the corners of my picture there. Okay? And I should only have to trace 3 sides now because of the other sides laying up against the other hexagons. Ready? Trace, trace, trace. Okay? And then, look what happens. Okay? I'm going to draw just a couple more so that you can see what we're going to do next. Okay? Eventually we're going to get to those super cute little bees. I think I'm just going to draw after this one 3 more. Nope. I think I'm just going to end with 2 more. Okay. So I'm going to make my beehive look like that. Last time it came to a point. But you can see how it doesn't matter really how you make it as long as your hexagons stick together. Okay. Next step. All you're going to do is you're going to trace around your hexagons. Okay, don't color your hexagons in because we are going to write inside of these cells and you have to be able to see your writing. Okay, so you're going to trace around the outside, just like that. Mrs. Man and Mrs. Moore sent home markers at the beginning of the year, so hopefully you've kept those safe. If not, you're going to have to use crayons or something. Okay, but we sent the markers home, so you should have some markers. Now you'll notice I'm just going to go over the lines. Don't color in the cells, just go over them so that you can see where one cell stops and one cell starts. Okay, now this is the fun part. Okay, these are washable markers, so you don't have to worry about, you know, it'll come off your thumb. You can see how I was using it to make little bees before. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You are going to color your thumb right on your thumb. You're going to use your yellow marker. Really color it nice and good. Really, really color it. And it'll wash off. These are washable. Now, watch what happens when I take my thumb and I press it really, really, really hard on my paper. Ta-da! You're going to have bees that are in the exact shape of your thumb. And then I'm going to rub right back. You've got to do it again because it won't stamp more than once. Okay? So you're going to color again. And then you're going to put it in another place on your paper. Doesn't matter where you put it. Okay? See? You have to color each time. If you don't color each time, it's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to color, 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 color. Make my thumb nice and yellow. And just press it down. Color, 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 color. And press it down. Okay, so however many bees you want to make is up to you. Okay. Now, if you don't have a marker that you can press down on, you can take a yellow crayon and just color a circle and fill the circle in. And it'll be just fine, just like that. So that's one that I colored and this is one with my thumb. So it's just fine, it looks exactly alike. Now, to make the rest of your bee, like my cute little bees here, I need to put wings on them and stripes, some antenna, eyes, and a stinger. Okay, so for the wings, okay, you're going to make a heart on each side. Okay, I hope you can see this one right here. Okay, I'm going to make a heart here and a heart here. So you can see on each side there's a heart there and a heart there. Next I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 little stripes. And then I'm going to make my eyes. And then I'm going to make antennas sticking out from there. And then I'm going to make a little stinger coming right down this bottom, just like that. And guess what you have? You have yourself a cute little bee. Now, does this look like real bees? No. Not exactly like real bees, but they'll do. Okay? So you're going to do that to each one of your bees. And you'll see I'm going to do that to my, this is the bee that I made with just my marker coloring a circle, and this is the bee that I made with my thumb. They look just as cute. Okay. Now, we didn't just make this just to make a fun picture. Okay? Because you know how Mrs. Man is. I love to write. So now that you have your finished beehive, okay, now each one of these cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 cells in my beehive. Each one of those cells is going to be a place for you to write a fact about bees. Now, we've learned some facts by our honeybee book. Okay, we've learned some facts. We've learned that bees make honey. So that's a fact. I can prove it. So in this first square, I can write just that. Now, you're going to have to write little bitty to fit your notes in there. Okay, but each cell gets a fact. All right? Now, before you watch the next video, I want you to think about maybe 3 facts that we've learned just by watching or just by reading our honeybee story in our book. And fill in 3 cells or so about honeybees, okay? And then when you watch the next video, you're going to get to watch an episode of the Magic School Bus. I love watching the Magic School Bus. And when my little girl was growing up, it was one of her favorite shows. So we're going to watch an episode of the Magic School Bus where the Magic School Bus turns into a honeybee and goes inside of a hive. Okay, so that's the next video. When you watch that video, you can pause the video every time you learn something new, and you can write it down on the cell of your beehive. Okay, so you can make your art picture first, then you're going to watch the Magic School Bus, and then by the time the Magic School Bus is done, you're going to have facts that you've learned from our story this week and facts that you've learned from the Magic School Bus. Later today, after lunch, we're going to do a really fun experiment to show you how bees help flowers make new seeds. Okay? All right, have a great time making your beehive. I cannot wait to see it. So when you're finished, you're going to post a picture on Google Classroom. Okay? Bye.